the vacation from your role as a parent, like
Mhm.
temporarily. It's you're literally just an adult with your spouse,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
can do what you want to do, and you can focus on each other. Thanks for checking out the podcast. And today we're going to be talking about why you need a getaway without the kids. And maybe just share, we just got back from a
Delray.
weekend away at the beach.
Nice. Although we thought it couldn't get hotter than where we currently live in
It's true.
Florida. And then we went to Delray and
It's
we
it's
realized
very hot.
it's even hotter down there. But anyways,
Fall doesn't really exist in Florida.
no, not. But anyways, yeah, I think this is probably a touchy subject for some people because they don't like, I think in the culture we live in,
Mhm.
people don't like leaving their kids at all. There's like a
Yeah,
very,
so maybe just for context,
yeah.
sorry to interrupt you, but just in case this is the first episode you're catching, we've got 3 children, 11 and
Mhm.
under. We've been married for 13 years, and this is a passion topic for us because we've done this. I think we've only missed like maybe 1 year, but for 13 years, we've done
Yeah.
minimum 1 night, usually 2 to
Yeah, it doesn't
4
have to
nights.
be.
It's important to us.
Yeah, and I think I'll just point out,
Yeah.
just for everybody listening, like we do have people we trust that we can leave our kids with,
hmm
and we have total understanding for those of you who don't have that.
For sure.
There's a lot of people who don't like have family members or whatever that they would feel comfortable because
Mhm.
your kid's safety is the number one priority.
Yes, I mean, we've made it a point like that, like I just said a minute ago, like this is a huge passion topic for us. Like we feel very convinced that, to your point, there's challenges. And by the way, we're going to get into like the fair, good reasons why this might be hard for some people. We'll talk about that, give some suggestions, but maybe to start, like we believe this is so important for
Yeah.
anyone, no matter how long you've been married, whether you have young kids, whether you don't have kids, whether your kids are out of the house, whatever it is, like to get away.
Yeah, 'cause some people might they don't have children yet, so that's not really an
Right.
issue. Yeah.
So maybe talk about like what are your thoughts on why it's so important to do this every.
I mean, I think that when you're away, first of all, there's no stress
Mhm.
in general, technically. You're not thinking about work, you're not thinking about issues at home, you're just focused on each other. And I
Right.
think that produces more closeness because it's just the two of you.
Yeah. Yep. 100%.
It strengthens the relationship. You have fun,
hmm
relaxed fun.
Yeah, I mean, just think
I would
about
say
it. I
that
think what
when
you
our
just
kids
said is
go.
so simple, but so important. Like, when was the last time? Maybe think about this while we're saying it. When was the last time you had a daytime where it was just the two of you, where you could actually like talk for or have the opportunity to talk for hours?
Without any interruption,
I mean,
anything.
I don't know if your life's anything like ours. I mean, it doesn't exist, like quite literally.
Throughout a whole
There's-
day? No.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you have work
Yeah.
and busyness with work schedules. The weekends are full. If you have children, the weekends you're either busy with activities or your kids are present.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think you're right. It's
Just
like
dedicated time
forces.
alone where you
Yeah.
can be close and connect and communicate, just talk about all kinds of things and just do fun things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I would say that's key.
Fun.
Don't go away together and then you're just sitting on your phone doing the same crap you do at
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
Like,
So true. Yeah.
Like-
Or bring work with you.
yeah. Work calls, although
Yeah.
you did have
I did
work
have to
call
take
our
one
last
test,
trip. But anyway,
that's
that
an
was
exception.
necessary evil. But
Reinforces
one
the
thing-
relationship. Right.
side note, I think when you're away, and you and I do this, we're not on our phones at all,
No, I agree.
like whatsoever.
Yeah.
We're just together and doing fun things. It's
Yeah.
almost like it's a break, and even that is nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really, so going back to like why it's important. I mean, I think we hit it all, but like it's a vacation, but you're also getting a vacation from, and I don't even mean this in a bad way. We love our children, like couldn't love them more, but it's a vacation from your role as a parent, like temporarily for those
You're just
48
you're
hours,
just together,
72
yeah.
hours, however long you're gone. You're literally just an adult with your spouse,
Yeah.
and you can do what you want to do, and you can focus on each other.
And there's nothing against your kids.
No, of course.
Like I love being
Yeah.
a mom more than anything.
Mhm.
They are always needing something though. And what brings more joy than filling those needs and being there for them? Nothing.
Yeah.
But it's just a mental and emotional, like, break
Oh,
and
yeah.
just time to be alone
Yeah.
together where you're not thinking about that. You're just focused on each
Present.
other.
Yeah.
And this is why, I wouldn't suggest doing this that like, your kids are your priority, but
Hmm.
your marriage has to be a priority too
Hmm.
in a way that's healthy
Right.
for your
Right.
whole family. Okay.
Yeah. If you think that traveling with your husband or wife sounds amazing, but can't do it now. We did it when we were, early in our marriage. We'll do it again when we're retired. And you have this 20 plus year gap where you're raising your kid, rightly so. And then you think that you're going to just jump right into this lifestyle where it's just the two of you. I think we're
Mm,
not going to get into that too much now. 'Cause it's not the
great,
point of the
great point.
podcast for today, but you're in for a rude awakening because if you've not made a habit of spending time alone together for more than an hour or two in the evening,
You might,
and then you have
yeah,
like an overdose of your spouse when you're retired, I mean, I think the statistics are
grow
very strong
apart,
that
I
you
think.
grow apart or you get divorced.
I also want to point out, like, if you are watching this and you're thinking, oh gosh, going on a vacation just with my spouse, that
Mhm.
sounds terrible, or I don't want to be with them for that. That's a
A
sign that
separate
something's
issue.
really wrong and you need to actually just focus on that and get some help or like
Yeah.
get to the bottom of why you don't want to be with your spouse.
That's a good point.
That's a
Yeah.
big red flag.
If you'd
That
rather
something's
go,
very wrong in the
yeah,
marriage if you're like, oh, that sounds horrible. I want to go with my friends.
yeah.
I
I was
think
just going
that's
to
a
say,
big problem. I'd rather go with my friends than be with my like
yeah.
I can't you try to force me to do that stuff because
Hmm.
I just want to go with you. Like if I'm going on vacation, like I want to go with you
Hmm.
and or with our kids. Like
Hmm.
we
Hmm.
we won't talk about that now, but we do a lot with them, which
Hmm.
is also
Hmm.
amazing as a family.
I
But
think that, well, I think
and
that that's important to say though for the listeners, because what we're not saying is you do this instead of a family vacation.
no,
Like, and we know everyone's got different financial restraints. So we're not like trying to tell you what you should do or need to do. Everyone's opportunity for taking vacations and travel is very, very, very personal.
and that has varied over the years, even for us.
For sure. But the point that I would make is like, please hear us on this. Like, it is not in place of a family vacation. Oh, my wife and I go to Napa Valley every year, but we can't afford to take our kids anywhere. That's not what we're saying at all.
Because that's special and fun in its own way.
You have to take
Being
family
with your kids
vacations.
on a
Like, that's your priority. I would argue like that's the thing that needs to happen first. If you're not taking any trips, you need to do
Yeah.
the family trip first.
100%, I agree.
But after that, yeah, I mean, I think it's important
Mhm.
to say that. One of the things we had in our outline here was like how to do it, because maybe some people are listening and they're like, well, sure, that sounds great, Chris and Jamie, but never done it, don't know how. Let's like unpack that maybe a little bit.
So, I mean, I think key is plan it in advance, schedule it. First of all, if you have kids, if you don't, that's irrelevant. But if you do, figure out together and come to an agreement on where you would
Who's gonna
who's
watch?
going to watch them.
Yeah.
Make sure it's safe.
Yep.
Okay. And then
Set the right expectation
yeah,
with the
set the right
people that are
expectation. And maybe it's one night. Or
right.
like it doesn't have to be a 10-day trip to Hawaii or something crazy. It could be
Probably shouldn't be.
no, I agree. Like you and I have only gone, 3, 4, 5 days
Hmm.
max,
Hmm.
and that's not every year. It's normally
Right.
like 2 or 3 days, like
Hmm.
just a short thing. But
Getting on
and
the
if you
calendar
do
well.
go on like a 10-day trip every now and then, cool. Like there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
If you're whoever's watching your kids, if
But
you have
getting
them
it
in groups.
on the schedule early.
Yeah, plan in advance, decide. It's really fun even to like plan it out. I find that fun. Like, where do you want to go? We research and we look into
Yeah.
places, and then like, what could we do here and there? And there's different kinds of trip. I think that we've just had
Make
it
that part
fun.
of that's a good point.
Yeah, like
Like,
looking into
make that part of the process. And
Mhm.
maybe I'll just share if you don't mind me jumping in. Like,
No, yeah.
personally for us, there have been trips where like I've taken the lead and I want to surprise Jamie and do all the planning and pick something out. But I tell her a little bit in advance just to make
I
sure
can't
like
have
she's good with it.
zero knowledge of
Right.
me.
And so I think it, again, back to like the point we were making a minute ago about everything being so personal, I think that is also situationally dependent. Like, If you both are both like planners and like that element of control, well, then you need to do it together
Mm-hmm.
and talk through the details together and make it fun. Like make that part of the process of going away. And then it,
You actually plan a lot of our trips,
yeah,
and I plan most of our family
yeah,
trips.
yeah, yeah.
That's
So I
interesting.
think I mean, that's a good point. And we've done it where we both researched and
Together,
planned
yeah.
and picked the hotel and picked what we're going to do and all the things. But
Yeah.
I think you've got to know your situation and know your partner. So just to advocate,
Yeah, you want to both be going places and doing things
yeah,
you enjoy. Not
like
like
if one of you is
person's control freak.
right and the other's super
Yeah.
spontaneous, like you got to talk about that because I'm sure some of you listening,
Yeah.
like you would jump in the car right now and not know where you're going, and you'd be cool with that, and
Yeah.
your spouse might be stressed out not knowing where they're going. So
And it's funny, I'll say this, sometimes we're going like somewhere with like Savannah or like Quebec City, and
mhm,
you're like planning all the restaurants and things we're gonna eat. Like you've had like a list of
food is
eat
definitely
these
a
things.
big part of it.
And I'm like, I don't care. We'll find out when we get there. Like
And
I'll just see what I want to eat and I'll go eat it. Like I don't really
I
plan
take the pressure of your
activities. I just want to be there with
mhm,
you.
mhm,
And like we'll just do whatever. So let's discuss obstacles
mhm,
because we've heard them from lots of people,
yeah,
why they don't do it, why they can't do it,
mhm.
you know. So what do you think are like the main obstacles
Yeah, I mean, I
for
think
people not
sadly,
doing this?
like, and hate to obviously, like, if any of our friends are listening who this applies to, like, no offense, but it's very rare that we've been married 13 years. We said very, very rare to meet of couples who do this, let alone do this every year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we've just found that sad. I mean, I did run
Yeah,
into a few guys when I was on my men's retreat recently that
they do
they
it.
do it with their wives. And it's so encouraging when you meet people
Well,
that
and real quick,
prioritize that.
a friend of mine years and years ago, because we do this and I've
Hmm.
talked about it,
Hmm.
they started doing it.
Yeah.
And I remember her telling me, I'm so glad that
It was like the
we started
catalyst
doing,
for,
like,
yeah.
this has been so amazing
Hmm.
for our connection and our marriage. And I'm just so grateful I've been
Yeah,
inspired by you guys. So we've seen it make a
for
difference.
sure. For sure. But we've also had plenty of feedback of like people that it's been 7 years since they've gone away
Mm-hmm.
together. Oh, one night or more. Like that is
I can't.
anyway, we've talked about that enough at the beginning of the episode. So your question about like what the challenges are, I mean, maybe
Yeah.
just to like rattle them off and then we can unpack it. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think time
Mm-hmm.
is a big one. Like, do I have the time? Can I make the time? I can't step away from work. I can't do these different things. Money, obviously that's a big part of it. Like financial resources are a strain in marriage. Like it's been for us
Yep.
in the past.
Yep.
It is what it is. So I think that could be one. Um, kids, and we're definitely going to double click on this one. The challenges, not just of where the kids fit into your priorities, but
Mm-hmm.
also like how you said at the beginning of the episode, like how do we get the kid, make sure the kids are good at covered
Yeah.
while we're gone,
Safe
and
and all that.
that is stressful.
100%.
Not to
Yeah.
um work, I just said that, but everyone's workplace environment and the work stress and the things are different, and that's not lost on us either.
Things are coming to me. One would be what I already mentioned was like, you don't want to be with your spouse.
Hmm.
That's a really big issue.
Yeah,
The second would be differences. Like one spouse is like willing to put in the time and effort and spend
yeah,
their resources on this because it's a priority, and the other one's not. Or one spouse says, "Oh, I'm okay leaving the kids," and the other spouse, "Oh no, I can't do it." That even brings other problems like resentment. That's a
yeah.
different issue we'll deal with later. Yeah,
No, totally. I think
yeah.
discussing differences, that's another obstacle. So I think the reality is maybe I'll say, and then I'll ask you the same question, like,
Mhm,
what's your thought on this? So we talked about time and work constraints,
mhm.
financial resources.
Let's talk
Um,
about that for a minute, the
yeah,
money. So you and I, when we first got married, we were not in like phenomenal
right.
shape.
No.
Quite the opposite.
Hmm.
And so this is, before kids, we went away.
Hmm.
And I remember getting like the cheapest cabin I could find in like some random
Hmm.
place in North Carolina.
Mhm.
That like nothing was even around it, and it was not that much. It was still more than we could afford,
Mhm.
but we did it anyway because it
Mm.
mattered, and we kind
Mhm.
of cut back in other areas.
Yeah. You
Um,
gotta
so
sacrifice
that's
for
one
sure.
thing. Another thing, when we did have just maybe like our first kid,
Mhm.
we took advantage. You had a work trip,
Mhm.
and you had some of the hotel and your flight paid for, and so we
Yeah,
only
you
had to
came with.
like I just kind of joined in on that. And then I think there have been times where things were really tight,
Mhm.
where it was like kind of a staycation
Mhm.
where your parents
100%.
just we dropped our one kid off and then we came home and we just hung
Mhm.
out. And I
Mhm.
think
Yeah.
just spend that same alone time. So it's like if you can't afford it, I fully respect and understand that.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
but you can figure out some way to have alone time because that still felt like a little bit of a getaway. We didn't
Oh, for sure. I mean,
I think we just spent those days like at the time we were in like a community with we go to the pool and we
mhm.
just hung out.
Mhm.
We
Go to
treated it
dinner.
like a trip, like a
Yeah, and I
vacation.
think
Yeah.
you're bringing up a good point too, because I think comparison culture, maybe to talk about that for a minute, is so hard. Like definitely in our generation, more so than like what our parents dealt with, where you see people's lofty lifestyle that can set the bar so high, and then jealousy and envy and sets in. We're not going to get into that. That's a separate issue. But I do think to your point, like figuring out what you can afford, talking about it together, making sacrifices, like you hit the nail on the head. And then like, okay, so maybe you aspire to go to Mexico for three nights. Or you do aspire to go to Napa Valley and do a wine tour. Whatever that higher goal is for your next trip, like, well then just put that off for a little bit and focus on the time away. And that's the point you're making, is like the alone time.
Yeah.
We've done trips where we go to a hotel that we drive to for one night and we're back the next afternoon. Like it's the point
We
of
just sit
getting
at the
away.
pool all day
Yeah.
or whatever.
It's the purpose of getting
Yeah.
away. Like
And then we've flown
yeah.
places. We've gone lots of different places.
Yeah, it's been a mix. Yeah.
I think what you were saying about you comparison,
Hmm.
you don't have to go to Europe. You don't have to
Of
go
course. That's the
to
point. Yeah.
these places that are so extreme. Just do what you can do
Right.
and you'll enjoy it.
Right.
Find ways to enjoy going to different places, you
Yeah.
know?
So what about, like, I think we should definitely, I would guess from personal feedback that we've had on this topic, and I do think we should
'Cause we've
spend
had a lot of it.
several minutes on this. Um, we could talk about time constraints, work constraints. Those are just excuses. We make time for the things that matter to us. So we're not even going to talk about that anymore. But the kids are like the obstacle, I would say, more than money. The
Yes,
children and where
100%.
your kids go and who they stay with and disagreements between spouses, like this is a big deal.
A huge conflict
Huge conflict
issue
generate. Yeah.
because you could have one partner like desperately wanting to get away and the other one is and I think
Adamant about
what's
not.
coming to me right now is there's so much fear and anxiety
Hmm.
with some parents in leaving their children because
Hmm.
they're terrified of something horrible. And first of all, if you're a believer, if you're a Christian, that's not from God.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
God is in control and he's got it under control. You do your part. You pick
Hmm.
let your kids stay with people you trust
Hmm.
where you know they're safe,
Hmm.
but you got to give that fear and anxiety up
Yeah.
because how's that different than like you're sending them to school,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
So like you have to be able to be apart from your child
Hmm.
because eventually you're going to be. Now,
Yeah.
with them safe. Don't like if you're afraid to send them to a family member because it's not a safe environment, that's
We
valid
don't do
fear.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
But if it's not that valid, if it's like this is a safe place,
Hmm.
or you just have like an unhealthy attachment to your child, because I see
Hmm.
that a lot, especially with as
Yeah.
a therapist, I think there's like some codependency between parent child.
Hmm.
That's a real thing. So that's not okay. And you might be really this is what I would say to parents who are afraid to do this because of anxiety or whatever, you will feel uncomfortable the first time. Like
Hmm.
the first day or so, you will
That's a
be
great point.
anxious.
Yeah.
It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Like take a deep breath.
To get.
You have to get through it. And once you're there, once you do it, it gets easier.
Yeah.
So, like, I've seen that where it's like, "Oh, I'm too scared," but they do it anyway, and then
Mhm.
they're okay. And then
Yeah, and
they
I think
survive, and
right.
they enjoy it, and then the next time it's easier. The first time that we went, I think our oldest was, I don't know, 15 months old when
Mhm,
you had that
mhm.
work trip to Canada, and, like,
Yeah, that's a
that's
long trip.
Canada,
You
that's a
were the
long
west
trip.
coast of Canada. That
Yeah,
was as
from
far as
Florida.
yeah, yeah.
So, oh, the first day I had so much, like, I was, like, homesick. I
Mhm.
missed her, like, it felt really.
FaceTiming and
Oh,
checking in and
I think I
feeling
cried going to sleep because 'cause I'd
mhm,
never really been apart from her
mhm, mhm,
like that. So it was, but we called her, we FaceTime, and then we had a lot of fun. And, like, yeah, and I knew she was safe. I knew she was somewhere safe,
mhm.
and she was happy, and she, liked being where she was because you don't wanna send your kids somewhere they're really miserable.
No. Yeah, I think that so this topic
Go
is
ahead.
like no, I think we should talk
There's a
about this
lot
because
underneath the surface.
this is like super deep. You're saying so
Yeah.
many things. I'm like that could be a topic in itself. I
Absolutely.
think just to quickly comment on that, I'll let you
Mhm.
keep going. But your children will build memories wherever they are. I do agree with you about safe environment because some of you out there might take advantage of this and then it's not a safe environment or your kids aren't happy where they are and then you are going to do damage to your children. I'm going to make an assumption though and say that that's probably not most of you that don't the reason you don't travel. I would be willing to bet
Yes.
that you do have safe family members that would actually love to have your children for a night or two and either both of you are very overly attached to your children, like you said,
Mhm.
and not really able to lay that down and go and have fun without them.
Trust God with it
Or,
too.
right, or you're split on this. And you talked about that a little bit too.
Mhm.
Maybe
Resentment,
it's,
trust me, will
yeah,
build.
yeah. So I think that this is a huge, huge topic. And I'm glad that we're spending like so much time on this one
Mhm.
because, yeah, it goes pretty deep, like what you're talking about
Yeah.
with trust and leaving your children.
Go on some dates and get a babysitter
Mhm,
because,
mhm.
yeah, if you, don't ever even
0 to
do that,
100.
and then it's like, "Okay, we're leaving for 3 days."
Yeah, you're
That's
gonna
gonna
have
be
a lot
hard
of
on your
stress.
child, but if they've built up to, like, "Oh, the babysitter's coming, we're going on a date," because believe it
Yeah,
or not, some parents don't even do that. So, like, start small,
mhm,
do 1 night, then
mhm.
you can build to more,
Yeah,
like, and if you do this when your children are young, they're adjusted. You want well-adjusted kids.
yeah, yeah.
And again, you and I are talking about, like, we do this once a year, and some people might do it more.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm, mhm.
obviously, we don't support leaving your kid every month to go to go away
Right.
and whatnot, but,
No,
like, a healthy we gotta have
or
healthy
not doing
times.
anything fun with them. That's not
Yeah,
what you're
then
saying either.
exactly. So, and I think our oldest is at a point where when we do go
Mhm.
places,
Yeah,
she's
maybe we should share that. Like
getting a little bit jealous
we
or
liked to try to do like maybe every other year, every 3 years,
like
we'd
a
pick a little bit
bigger,
more of an
cooler place,
extravagant trip. And as our kids have gotten older, like they want to be part of that too. And so that's been a
which is awesome
conversation
when
we've
they
had
are,
is
right?
like, and just being completely honest, like
Mhm.
we're still figuring that out to be fair to them and to our kids. Like we don't want to have these crazy adventures alone. And then they're feeling like, well, I would have liked to have done that as well. And so I think it's we're
But at
adapting
the same
too.
time, letting them know, "Hey, this is important for
Yeah,
us in our marriage,
100%.
and you get to come on the next trip,"
Yeah. And I think
you know,
that I do want to say something
because
about
they
that.
might not like it, but
Great.
sometimes we don't like things,
I
and that's
think
life.
I think we have to say, I'm a two comments that kind of wrap together. So if this is you, where you're kind of, let's call it what it is, like making some of these excuses, or you feel like your kids aren't safe and you don't feel comfortable leaving them, my question to you would be one of two things: what kind of marriage do you want them to visualize and then have someday?
Mhm,
Is it one where they see mom and dad not really prioritize themselves?
mhm,
Or their marriage together, I mean. Um, or a marriage where they're having fun together, they love being in love, they love to do things alone, and by the way, they prioritize themselves and their
mhm.
marriage over us sometimes.
Yeah, and then you get special time with your grandkids
Right.
because 'cause they're willing to
And
leave
then the
them.
second thing I would say, that my second point would be, and we talk about this a lot in a broad range of topics, is
Mhm.
okay, so what's the trade-off? So, okay, fine. That's cool.
Yeah.
You and your husband or you and your wife have agreed that you can't do trips because you don't trust in-laws or parents or
Mhm.
aunts and uncles or whatever the case is. Okay, fine. But
Or you do trust them, but you're too afraid or anxious to
correct.
leave your kid
What
or the
is the
attachment.
trade-off?
Oh,
What is the cost of that? And
yeah.
I think like I'll let you kind of chime in here too, but let's like maybe tee up the homework right now. The take action part is think about this. Don't just listen. Think about what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Make some notes, write it down on your phone, whatever you want to do, and talk about this like with your spouse. Like
Mhm.
make it a point to talk about this. Get on the same page together and we can kind of wrap up. We'll wrap up in a minute with
Yeah.
some other like action steps in terms of like how you can really implement this. But any
Yeah. So with like all things marriage, it starts with a conversation.
yeah.
Where are you at with this?
Mm,
Have you ever even asked your spouse, hey, would you like to go away alone?
right.
Maybe they don't bring it up because they think to themselves that'd be great, but that would never happen because so and so is so fearful and anxious to leave the
Hmm.
kids, or so and so's cheap and doesn't want to spend any money.
Hmm.
Because I've seen that too, where
That's
it's like
true. That's a
one
good point.
partner's like, oh, we can't spend any money, but then maybe they go spend money on other stupid crap
Yeah.
that they
A new
want.
set of golf
Like
clubs or whatever.
priorities.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm Side note, there was a study that I recently read about that talked about money and how once your needs are met,
Hmm.
money, having extra money doesn't really provide that much more
Right.
fulfillment
Right.
aside from money spent on memories and
Experiences. Yeah.
experiences.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
So it's like your needs are met, great, all the excess stuff and,
Yeah.
remodels and all this doesn't really bring that much more fulfillment, but going and enjoying memories and experiences does.
Does. That
And
is
I
cool.
remember thinking, like, yes, what do I love the most? Reflecting on places we've
Hmm.
gone, things we've done with the kids. Like,
Hmm.
we will
Hmm.
sit down and just kind of put like an album on our phone from
Hmm.
trips you and I have
Yeah.
taken alone.
Yeah.
And we reminisce, and it's like a fun night, like a
Hmm.
date night to just have a glass of wine and like look, oh,
Yeah, for
we
sure
went
it
there,
is.
remember that place. And we do that with the kids too,
Hmm.
like trips that we've taken with them, and they
Hmm.
love it.
Hmm.
And they have those memories and experiences,
Yeah, you're
and
so
it
right.
connects you.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do you spend your money on?
Uses
What
to
matters
justify.
most to
Yeah.
you?
Yeah. But the
Yeah.
Tony
Well, I kind
Robbins
of got
quote I
on.
love is, um, your energy flows where your money goes.
Oh,
And I think
so
that's, that hopefully I'm not getting that backwards, but I think it's so true.
fact check
Yeah.
him
It's
on
so it's,
that.
I do think it's true.
Mm.
So we hit on a lot there. I think we spent a lot of time on the kids situation.
Mm.
All, and maybe we're biased, but that's probably because we've heard a lot of that personally.
Yes.
So, um, the points that we would make to close out and maybe the action steps for you to take, think about, we'll just call them what they are. Think about the excuses. Think about what we've talked about on the positive side and why you need this in your marriage and how you can do it. We started off the episode with that. Discuss this with your spouse. And then once you get to that point where you're in agreement,
Yeah.
get it on the calendar. Plan
Start
it.
planning.
Start
What could you
start
do?
working
Where
towards it.
could you go?
Yeah.
And then planning ahead also helps with the financial piece because
Yeah.
sure, a spontaneous trip, or you want to do this weekend might be more challenging than things
Right.
way far out. But like planning, enjoying that part
Hmm.
together, and that can help you say, okay, if we're going to spend this much money, like estimate what is it going to cost,
Hmm.
then maybe we cut back over here
Hmm.
for a
Yeah.
few months, and then it'll take care of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like planning goes a long way with some of those excuses too.
Yeah. Well, we hope you enjoyed the episode. Thanks for checking out. Subscribe for more. We'll be back next week. Have an awesome day.
And enjoy that trip.
Yeah.